Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January of 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
Hey, we back. We're live.
I'm Spencer, of course. We have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
They come in shiny head Nas. I was talking to a client and I said, my head looked like an egg.
A brown egg, yeah.
They got brown. It's the organic ones.
Yeah, those are the tastier ones. I don't know. I don't eat eggs. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are the DEI eggs.
We had to integrate them in. All right. Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Those are the Kamala Harris's eggs.
As soon as January hits, those eggs are not going to exist anymore.
Oh, those February eggs. Don't take it too seriously, folks, or do. That's up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to rub those lights. We'd really appreciate it. All right. So if you don't know, we have a special guest, a repeat guest, as it were.
A three-peat.
Three times.
Three times.
Probably our first 3-time guest, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it is.
I think so. There you go. Of course, you all know our therapist, our quirky, funny meme maker, Dr. Funnies. Welcome to the show again. Welcome.
Yes. Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Hello.
Very glad to be back.
Yeah.
That's a storm black one. That's a storm black one.
How do you know? You don't know. They don't have a face thing there.
That's a black one.
That's right.
I can hear it.
I can hear it.
I can feel the African.
Feel it permeate through the screen.
I can feel the Caribbean jerk.
I have a feeling I want to watch Black Panther right now. I don't know why. I don't know why. Wakanda forever. Anyways, welcome back. Thanks for coming on again. Always a delight having you.
Yes,
Always.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So today we are doing the classic 1984 film Karate Kid. We're going to be talking about a few different things, such as judging somebody from the outside versus who they are on the inside, what we see. We're also going to be talking about trauma, dealing with certain emotions. And then we're also going to be talking about caregivers and how that could really play a part into who we are at the end of the day. So with that, Nas, anything before we get into the show?
I just appreciate, a black woman supporting A white man. Because
The white man's just so misunderstood.
the white man has the strongest.
Not sound like that.
The white man is
Sure,
struggling.
I don't know.
You know,
Hey,
no one's
it's
having
what
sex
you
with
hear.
them. You know, they're not. You know, they ain't got the jobs. They're not educated. I mean, you know, the queers are taking in on the women. Like, you know, the white men today are struggling. They're struggling. And
Apparently.
we're gonna lock up all you immigrants. Sorry.
No, don't you.
Because no one knows the white man's struggle. But today, our black therapist is going to tell you about the white man's personal struggle in America.
Timing couldn't be more perfect.
That is not what the angle is, and I'm not even going to let you do that.
When Trump said we got the black vote, this is what they was talking about.
Let's get those red hats on.
lie. Oh,
And
use a mother lie, because that is not it.
Hey, you know.
Hey, look, man, I'm a therapist, man. Like,
I get it. You
I'm
got
all for the human.
You
I'm all
love-
for the human.
I get it. You love the kids.
That's why I watch reality shows, just to be able to look at more like human aspects of people
We all.
without having to be at work.
I love looking at asses too, but you know I don't mean I love them.
You lying because you love asses. Now stop.
You know.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Silence is deafening.
You know.
It was.
Especially the white ones.
Oh my God.
God damn. Anyway,
Yes.
Let's get to the
Let's
show.
get
Let's
into
get
it.
to the show.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
There
Jesus.
you go.
Great.
Didn't even talk about what he wanted to talk about. No adding anything.
Arrest thing. I don't
Didn't
even
add
know.
a thing. He
what
literally just
happened.
talked about asses.
Yeah, well, you know, they do. They look nice.
That was awesome! Fruit time, man! Who's for a warm one? Here you go.
No, I passed, man.
Hey, Bobby.
No thanks, pal.
Johnny, who you kidding? You're still the ace degenerate.
No, ex-degenerate, man. 8 a.m. tomorrow, I'm a senior. I've got 1 year to make it all work. And that's what I'm gonna do. Make it work. All of it, right?
That's right, man. Hey, you must be a trendsetter, Johnny. Looks like everyone's doing something new. Take a right, check it out.
Hey, Johnny, forget it, man. It's ancient history. Who told you, man? Johnny!
Hey, man, I thought they broke up.
He did.
Here, come on. All right. See? Yeah, watch this. I'll get it. I'll get it back.
Those were the nights cruising around the street like you under my eye. We were two racing to a night dream radio played on.
Hey, Allie, I want to talk to you.
Just leave me alone. We've been over all this, all right? I don't want to talk.
Well, I want to talk to you, all right? What is your problem?
Look, why don't you just take your little Cobra Kais and get out of here?
Oh,
right?
yeah, right. And that's going to solve everything.
Give me my
No.
radio. I said, give me my radio.
You promise you'll talk to me?
Yes, just give
You
me
promise?
my radio. Yes. Just bring my radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't touch it, punk.
No, this is new. Just
What
like
are you,
that.
deaf?
Oh, man. What's going on? Yeah, just give
God, all right.
Johnny, stop it! Leave it! Go! Yeah! Johnny! Johnny!
I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything!
Pull it on. Pull it on.
You're like a big man now, huh?
Look, you started this. All I wanted to do was talk to you.
Well, then just leave him alone and we'll go talk.
Yeah, where did I hear that before? How about you, hero? Have enough? Okay, man. Now we're even, huh? No mercy. No, we're even.
No mercy.
It's your fault.
Not my fault.
It's your fault.
Hey, everything is your fault. Why are you going to fight, huh?
Bullshit. Get on your bike, guys.
learned plenty.
I learned plenty. I learned how to sand your decks, maybe. I wax your car, paint your house, paint your fence. I learned plenty, right?
Not everything is as seems.
Oh, bullshit. I'm going home, man.
Daniel-san! Daniel-san!
What?
Come here. Show me sand the floor.
I can't move my arm, all right? What are you doing? What are you... Ow! Ow, what are you doing?
Now show me sand the floor.
How did you do that?
Shut up!
Sand the floor.
Hey, stand up. Show me sand the floor. Sand the floor. Sand the floor. Big sucker, sand the floor. Sand the floor. Yes. Now show me wax on, wax off. Hey.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off. Hey, wax on, hot. Wax off, hot. Concentrate. Look at my eye. Lock a hand. Thumb inside. Wax on, hot. Wax off, hot. Wax on, hot. Wax off, hot. Wax on. Wax off. Hush. Show me penta fence. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Other side. Look eye. Always look eye. Show me paint the house. Side, side. Lock wrist. Side, side. Side, side. Yes. Show me wax on, wax off. That! 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 Show me paint the fence. That! 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 Show me side to side. That! 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 Show me sand the floor. That! 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 Yes. Yes! That! Oi. Hey, look eye. Always look eye. Come back tomorrow.
What's that song you were singing there?
Japanese blues. Come back.
Kanpai.
Miyagi-sama tame shinro shimpo banzai.
The baby trees.
Bonsai. Banzai.
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 Banzai!
Close enough.
Oh. What are we celebrating here?
Anniversary.
Whose anniversary? Is this your wife? I don't know you were married.
Damn beautiful, don't you think?
Yeah, she's pretty.
Oh, first time I saw her was Kinfield, Hawaii. Beautiful. Dangu ken kara to.
Well, where is she now?
Drink. Yume mo abishi. Daniel-san, huh? look. Hey. Fast American born Miyagi, waiting to be born. Hey, drink. Sergeant Miyagi. Yes, sir. Sergeant Miyagi report to kill many German, sir. Hey, Sergeant Miyagi. Yes, sir. Regret to inform wife, son, complication of birth, sir. Complication, but no doctor come. Run free, almost free. No doctor come. No doctor come.
Time out. Go to your sensei. Turn, kneel.
Johnny, you're a creep, Pop!
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
No, Sensei.
No mercy.
That's 2 points, LaRusso. Lawrence, nothing. Ready? Fight!
Johnny! Yeah, all right, Johnny! Yeah,
1 point,
all right!
1 point, Lawrence. It's 2-1, LaRusso. Ready? Fight! Block and punch! Kick to the side. 1 point, Lawrence. 2-2. Ready? Fight! Hold it. Out of bounds. Come on, back in. Continue.
From you, Johnny!
Destroy him, Johnny.
Come on, Daniel, you can do it. Come on.
That's it! That's it!
All right, Johnny.
Come on, Daniel. Come on, be strong. Be strong. Come on.
You okay?
Yeah, okay.
Whoever wins the next point will be our new champion.
No point. Flash. Ready? Eight.
Finish him, Johnny! It's over, Johnny! Yeah, you did it!
Russo, you okay? Can you go on?
Get him a body bag! Yeah!
All right. Feet.
Do it again, Johnny!
Warning for illegal contact to the knee.
Finish it, Johnny! Finish
Yeah.
it! No mercy! No mercy! Play the fist, Johnny!
Finish him!
The new champion! Daniel!
You're all right, LaRusso. Thanks a lot. Hey, Mr. Miyagi! We did it! We did it! All right! Woo!
Hey everyone, have you been looking for something to help you when you feel extra fidgety? How about when you have a sensory overload? Well, I'm here to introduce you to the Oh No Fidget Roller. It helps me regulate and also feel at ease. The Ono roller comes in 5 different materials, including plastic, aluminum, steel, titanium, and silicone. You can use our code DSP10 to get 10% off your order when you visit onoroller.com and get your roll on.
And we're back again.
Hey, we're back and we're live. Just as live as Derrick Henry's dimples.
Oh my God.
I thought we moved on.
We never
I
really
should have
move
known.
on.
Right,
Yeah.
I should know better.
I know, that's a gorgeous black bottom right there. Make America great again, one cheek at a time.
Dude could literally pick you up and throw you.
That's what I want.
Like, not even a joke. Oh, well,
okay.
never mind. That made it worse. And I'm going to shut up now. Anyways. All right. So we're doing Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
The classic film about a young man named Daniel-san as he moves from like New York to California because his mom got a job, and then he's new to the school, and apparently karate is a big thing at this school, right? And so he meets on the beach this guy. He's a well-known guy. He's part of this kung fu group called Cobra Kai. They're all grouped together and they do karate. It's all the fun white things that you get to do.
Yeah,
back in the 80s.
The actual name is the historical name for him is the Cobra Clan.
It's just like a snake with like a hood on it.
A snake with just a cross burned on him.
Oh my God. Keep them out. Keep them out. Anyway, they get into a fight together, and then Johnny and his group just bullies the shit out of Daniel-san until one day Mr. Miyagi comes from out of the shadows and whoops all of Cobra Kai's ass, right? And so then that started a path of Mr. Miyagi training Daniel-san so he can protect himself against these Cobra Kai. Then everything ensues and then gets into a tournament, yada, yada. He wins. You already know what happens. Come on. 1984. If you haven't seen the movie by now, what are you doing? So I'd love to know, why did you pick this? Why, of all the movies? I know you're getting into the karate thing. We've done a few karate movies.
Yep.
A few. I think everyone has been.
Pretty much.
Is it a kung fu thing? Is it an Asian fetish? Like, what is it?
I don't think that's it necessarily. I'm a kid of the 80s. Karate and kung fu movies were just like the thing back then.
Right.
And a lot of these movies were like my comfort movies, like movies that I could watch over and over again. I know every line. I can fall asleep to it. I share it with my kid. You know, she loved it. So that's one of the reasons why I picked it, you know, just to kind of, and plus Cobra Kai is coming out with the final season, the second part of their final season at the end of November. So I thought it was like good time.
And in November. Got it. Maybe we'll bump this.
Like November 15th.
We'll bump this up in the queue then too. Well, I'll bump this up in the queue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hashtag Cobra Kai. Cobra Clan. So like, what do you think it is about just especially when it comes to like Black culture and things like that, and kung fu / Asian culture kind of combining and doing this mesh? Like, what do you think it is about that has gotten it to where it's so ingrained in both of these different cultures?
I feel like it's the movies, honestly, you know, and back in the day. I mean, whenever I say that, my daughter's like, back in my day, like I'm some old lady. But no, back in the day, movies, they're still big now, but they were really big back then. They didn't come to DVD or to TV and stream so easy. Like, they were in the movie theaters for like a long, long time, and everybody would be there and I lived in a small town too, so everybody would be there, you know, ready to watch all these movies, and there were so many that came out that also ingrained some Black culture within them as well. You know, I think it was just like an escape for us of what we were dealing with. And so these movies were just like fun. creative, unlike things that had been before them. You know, so I think that's probably what it is.
There's got to be some infatuation too, with just
You want there to be?
no, not in a perverted way. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you sucking
I'm
toes
serious
over
then.
here. Yeah.
I'm serious.
Okay, now I'm serious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm serious. There's got to be some infatuation with us, with black and brown culture, or just white folks in general, with all that kicking ass and stuff. There's got to be something to it in that the 80s, 90s. Because, like, I mean, I grew up on Jackie Chan, like Spence was talking about, and, you know, Jet Li, and then Bruce Lee. He was way before me, but my boys loved him.
Yeah.
And then there was with the Jean-Claude, like there was all these movies, Mortal Kombat, like we was all playing.
Yeah.
I was in Taekwondo for a long time, like for a lot of my little years, Taekwondo.
Yeah.
I wonder what it was. It was a big thing back then. I don't know if Taekwondo and like karate is a big thing now. I know jujitsu is and like MMA stuff, but I don't know if karate
I don't
is.
think it is. I don't think it is, mainly because it's like there's an saturation with kung fu and things like that, and like it's literally in a little bit of everything. Like you go watch different movies and it's literally just in there.
True.
Like it's still cool, but and then also you have like CGI and things like that. You didn't have that back then with them. Like if Jackie Chan's doing a stunt, he's doing a stunt. Like that's him.
Yep.
It's nobody else. He doesn't even have a stunt double. And then also I would have to say kind of goes along with like the storylines. It's also usually about somebody overcoming something
Yeah.
to then beat the big bad, whoever it is, whether
There's always
it's
a white
like
man.
it's usually, but like even in different culture, like whoever is the big bad at the time,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
always the villain, no matter who it is. And like especially in the 80s, it was like fucking, Wall Street, fucking like all these fucking
Somebody trying to build a building and you're wreck center or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, like, and in this movie, you have this studio or not studio, like this big, huge kind of like corporate with like the Cobra Kai, where I have like it's all like so many students in it and people
Rich.
are in it. But then you have Mr. Miyagi, who's just like this guy who is a war veteran, who's just selling cars and just getting by, and who's a custodian too. There's a lot of shit. But like, and I think that also plays a part. It's like a class kind of deal. And I think that's why it's still a big hit now, because those things still very much touch today.
Self-defense, right? Fighting against oppression, marginalization, being othered, right? Kung Fu, being a teacher of like discipline. But also it's always really good because the sensei and the kid, well, what are they called when they're getting taught? Sensei, and what are the kids called? Are they called something? There's the master,
pupils,
and then
I think.
pupils,
Pupil, disciple, something
fucking
like that.
Jedi. I don't know, whatever the fuck they are. Minions. Hello, minions. But there's always this love that we see in these kung fu movies too. So I assume a lot of us latched on to that too, because like we wish some of us had that reciprocal relationship where we had someone feeding into us and like prepping us for war, for battle.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why we like it too, that self-defense, that fuck you mentality. I mean, I just told you about that movie Beekeeper, and Spencer's like, this shit was awesome. And like, you'll see why.
Yeah.
And it's just the protection of people. Gotta love that shit. I mean, yeah. So maybe that's it too, Spence. I don't know why she picked it, but it's a bunch of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the culture.
That's great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There you go. Okay. Well, let's get into the scenes.
Yeah, let's have some fun with the scenes. We got some good scenes.
Yeah. So, first scene, we got the beach scene, right?
Yeah.
This is the introduction to Johnny and Daniel's son. Their first clash. They're on a beach. Daniel's son, he's with like some of his now new school friends. And then of course, there's a couple gals there, some high school flirting with a soccer ball.
Right.
Sure. He was just trying to be friendly. And then all of a sudden this biker gang comes out of nowhere and just rains terror on all of them.
Yep.
Yes, they
Oh
do.
my God.
I'm not even kidding. Like they all wrote up. They're just like, yeah, I'm good now. I'm not gonna do any bad stuff immediately. That's
Yep.
something bad. Um, so then, Johnny and his gang, they go down to the beach. They start, he wants to talk to his ex-girlfriend now, and it's not really going his way. It's not. It's not. And Daniel's son walks up. He's like, "Hey, stop it. You stop it now. Hey, just leave the lady alone." And then Johnny proceeds to kick his ass. So, and then Daniel said, not only does he get his ass whooped, but his like all of his new friends are just like, what a fucking
Like lame, right?
what a lame ass dude.
What
Can't
a
even
giant
fight.
vagina.
Right.
Even though none of them stepped up,
None of
none of
them.
them did anything.
Yeah.
None of them.
We'll just show
And they're
you.
all just
Trust
like,
no one. Trust no one.
You know how to pick friends, don't you?
Exactly.
Trust no one.
What is that? But yeah, so you want to kind of get into this thing of like how Johnny he's misunderstood.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Outside versus inside, right?
That's a that's a good white man.
That blonde hair, blue eyes, they always know.
It's a good man, Savannah. No.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
Very
I can
pure.
tell. I can tell.
Yeah.
Shout out to all dudes that look like that. I think that some of them are misunderstood. In high school, that's exactly what Colin looked like. So what I mean, I got my own little fetish towards white men that look like that.
You sure do.
I'm look at this little autistic man. Come with me.
Like,
You're so silly.
We don't go to the China buffet and just sit and chill for a couple hours. All right.
Always comes back to Asian culture.
It does. It does. Buffets be hitting.
So, Dr. Funnies, you also want to talk about your interaction on threads that you had with somebody about Johnny. So please, let's get
Let's
into
talk
it.
about Johnny. Yep.
Yes. It started with someone saying that he was, just saying what's a character that was a villain that, maybe you don't consider a villain. And I kind of talked about Johnny. And for me, it's just being a therapist and understanding that people are like onions, right? There are many layers to people. People are not born the way that they present you today. They have different experiences, different upbringings, different choices in life that they've made that bring you to the person that you see before you and how they are presenting today. And so even when we look at the psychology behind when we are introduced to Johnny, you got this rock music playing in the background. They're coming up on dirt bikes. You already know, like you described them as a gang, for goodness sake. They a group of 17-year-olds. They're not menacing around town.
I saw a bunch
robbing.
if those kids were black, they're thugs.
They would be thugs. Yes,
We've
but
seen this grouping before.
Yeah,
if they had hoods on, we'd be like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
But since they know
Carrying
karate
a
and
can
wear
of
leather
Skittles
jackets, they're
and
fine.
a tea.
Well, it doesn't. If they were black kids, and they did say that they were like that, we would still be pissed off. Like, they probably were good kids. Why are we calling them thugs and hoodlums? Why are we just assuming?
It's true.
So, and then when Johnny's talking, guy gives him a beer. He's like, I'll pass. I'm trying to be straight this year. It's senior year. I'm trying to be on point. And his boy says, hey, but look at your girl. Look at your girl over there. Trigger. Anger. And we all know when you get angry, right? That front part of your brain that makes decisions, gives you logic, that joint is just, it checks out. It's like, bye-bye. In the back part of your brain, where it's all your emotion, that joint flares up. And you make rash decisions. And so with their interaction between Johnny and Allie, right, he gets upset. Everybody's been through a breakup before. Everybody's tried to talk to the person that they've broken up with before. And especially at a young age, like your hormones are raging, your emotions are high. You don't know how to handle yourself. And so what does he do? He breaks her radio. Not cool, Johnny. Definitely should have did that. There's a whole crowd of people around her too that just was like, all right, go ahead, Johnny, you do your thing. And so then Daniel does step up and say, hey, that's not cool. You shouldn't do that. He gets pushed. His so-called friends, right? Like, hey, man, you gonna let him push you like that? Get up and fight. You ain't know you was about to fight with this guy that has some mental problems. Like, he got some issues. Like, he's not necessarily right. He's not instilled with good decision making or how to control his emotion. The whole philosophy is Cobra Kai is what? Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. This is what is in his brain. And that's what he does. That's what he executes because that's what he's been taught. Is it right? Hell no. Is he an asshole? Hell yes. Is he a kid who's filled with a bunch of stuff that didn't allow him to make right decisions in life? That's also true. So then that just kind of sets the land for their interaction from here on out. It is bullying for sure, but there is also a lot of back and forth. Like when Johnny, when Daniel, we don't have this scene in there, but there is a scene where Daniel does do something to Johnny, and that's how the whole skeleton scene
pours water on him.
Okay, while he's rolling a joint, and it probably was their last joint.
And then not only is that, but then they all gang up. It's not just Johnny.
I'm not saying it's right. I think you think I'm like, no, Johnny is right. He should kick his ass.
I don't think that.
No,
I have to play devil's
I'm
advocate
just
here.
saying
I have to. That's my
I'm
role.
just saying this is when you fuck around and find out, you fuck around and find out. That's what happened. I'm gonna pour water on Johnny. They roll in their last J. If they fiending for it, they like, Johnny, are you done? Are you done rolling? Come on, man, we need you. He's rolling, mind his business, gets water poured on him. He could have not done anything. He could have just like, oh, that's messed up. I got water poured on me. Oh, I should be cool. But again, Johnny got problems. So he didn't. And
Moral
he got
of
his
the story,
ass kicked.
kids. Moral of the story. Don't fight your bullies. All right? Don't do it.
You might not want to. You might get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
You might get your ass kicked.
I'm gonna just be real with you. What this sounds is the election. This is the election. Motherfucking Democrats fucking around and found out this year. I tell you that.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we say these things and then we don't act like it doesn't really happen. Like, yeah, go ahead and fight your bully. You might win, you might get your ass kicked, and you actually might be friends after you get your ass kicked. Like, that happens too.
Yep.
It happened so long. It took like months for that to happen. Like, he whooped his ass so long. No, he whooped his ass multiple times. And then finally, once he actually won, Danielson won, he's just like, you know what, kid? You got it.
You do. You had to prove it.
So I have a question, though.
Go ahead.
So did you always have this feeling like Johnny was kind of misunderstood, or when you first, like when you start doing your therapy thing, then you started realizing oh shit.
So when you was in your black woman days, before you converted over to whiteism,
that evil white man.
until you became a white supremacist.
Shut the hell up.
So when you was
what about Claire? What's the name from
Clarence Thomas?
No.
Motherfucking Clarence Thomas.
Dave Chappelle's character.
Clayton Bigsby.
Right.
Clayton Bigsby. White bear.
So, oh my God, we're gonna clip that. So, I love that back in the day we talk about this. Like, we always identify everyone. Always identifies with that marginalized identity, and they're always fighting against like this oppression. And then as you become a therapist, you realize that things are more complicated. You realize that there's goodness in everyone. And I had a student ask me this the other day because of the election and things. And she's like, are people just born rotten? Or are they born blank? Or are they born good and then the world pollutes them? I was like, kid, I don't know, man. She said, I believe that we're all born blank and then, the world teaches us and we become good or bad. I go with that. I also think that we're all just born really good because how innocent we are, but maybe it is blank, but I feel like it's good. And then the world, like Killmonger, I posted a reel. He's like, hey, man, the world took everything from me. And now I'm going to make sure you motherfuckers burn for it. Villains are usually created. But Johnny, that wasn't necessarily, we actually, as you get into the TV show, you see that he does have a fucked up life in childhood. But you don't see that. You just see that the sensei's got a fucked up child. See, so maybe the sensei's not. Turns out white men are actually good people.
Nobody's strictly evil. Everybody.
Nobody's strictly inherently evil.
No. Turns out.
Keep the leg. Just like,
when he,
Yeah, even Johnny was like, "We'll talk about that." But
yeah, you know, sweet the leg. In actual honesty, you know, that white man just need a hug. No, I'm gonna be real with you. That white man just needs some coochie.
Oh my God.
It does solve a lot of
A little
problems,
bit.
though.
It does, doesn't it?
Okay, forget about life's problems.
Don't feel good about that. No, you don't feel good.
Oh my Lanta, what's this? this is
It's
magnificent.
glistening.
Oh no!
This is Mother Earth. I am so sorry for all my clients that are going to listen to this. Many of them being autistic. I am so sorry for all the people that are about to tune into this, because I got a lot of clients tuning in now. I am so sorry.
Yeah,
but
me
y'all,
too. I'm comfortable with you guys now, so
it is what it is. I know y'all fucking. It's fine. You know, we can talk about it.
Jesus Christ.
Right, you a college student. I know you fucking.
We know.
So yeah, continue. Why do you see the goodness in these individuals?
Yes, I think it's because, like you said, like your client put it, I think I kind of believe some of that philosophy too. You know, and myself having kids and seeing how I'm raising them, and you know, seeing how some other kids maybe dealing with things. It's like you can see that, and also being a therapist and seeing like people's life kind of unfold and hear their stories and different things that have happened to them. You can see how people end up where they are and how they end up making these decisions, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. You know, whether they understand that they're good, understand that the decisions that they're making are like just bad, inherently bad, or whether they don't and don't have that insight. So I think therapy did really help me kind of humanize a lot, especially like even as a therapist, there's a lot of pressure on us to not be human. Like I've seen things where people are like, therapists have therapists? Like, why wouldn't they? Like a surgeon doesn't perform surgery on themselves. Like, so you need someone to help you too. And you would want your therapist to, if not be in therapy, have gone to therapy, knows what it's like, you know, knows that they had their stuff and that they're dealing with their stuff, you know?
Yeah. It makes me think of the scene, Spencer, from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where the police chief, oh my God, Captain Holt, season 4, he gets this rod that goes right through his leg, and then Adam, what goddamn, I'm forgetting everyone's name right now. The Sandberg. Andy, yeah.
Andy.
And so, right, and he's like, I'm freaking out. And he's like, don't worry. And then he does his own surgery on his own leg, and he sews himself up, coaching the guy that's just watching, like, you're fine, you're doing fine. Well, he's just like dry heaving, but the captain's fixing his wound. It doesn't work like that. We don't fix our wounds by ourselves. We usually need support. So Johnny, in all seriousness, Spence, obviously there's goodness in him. I mean, we're privileged enough now. When did this come out? In the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, 84.
So we're privileged enough now in 2024 to know Johnny's backstory, to know the coach's backstory. Things are more complicated. So I guess we'll get into that when it comes to Miyagi's trauma. But I mean, Spence makes some solid points, though. I mean, I don't know if trauma is a good enough excuse to be an asshole.
Who's giving an excuse is my question. Like,
I
there's
mean-
no excuse to say, okay, you had trauma, go ahead, be an asshole. It's great. It's like, no, you had trauma, go deal with your shit and then be a better person.
So,
but you sometimes you need that guidance to say you got to deal with your shit.
So
if nobody's telling you, it
who's
stinks,
supposed to guide people then? Who's supposed to be guiding it?
You can have your friends guide you. You could have your
But what if
teachers
they're
guide
all
you.
assholes, though? Like, what if
But
they're also...
But that's why you need more of a community, you know what I mean? Because sometimes your friend do be like, hey man, you're a little harsh, bro. Like when you talk to people, you come off a little harsh. And if you trust that friend, maybe you'll listen and
True.
say, damn, okay, let me check myself, you know, or a teacher, or, you know, just a, what do you call it? A romantic partner, even. Like, dang, I keep having all these failed relationships and they all keep saying the same thing. Maybe I need to listen.
So
They keep saying, I don't listen. Maybe I need to figure out what that's about.
here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
As kids get to college, they start trying to figure out who the hell they are. And they start breaking away from their family patterns. And maybe that's the poison that poisons them. For a lot of us, that's what poisons us. uncles, aunts, right, and parents, right, our family dynamic. Then we get to college and we're like, oh, wait a minute now. Well, wait.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to hate all these people? These are good people. And so when do you think it is that a lot of people start to understand that maybe their upbringing wasn't all the truth or the full truth? They start questioning things and they're like, huh, do you think that happens in the 20s or is it in the 30s? When do you think that happens for folks?
Bro, it really depends, you know, because I think it depends on what you've experienced. Because sometimes you experience something in life that just kind of changes your trajectory of being like, there's things that are more important in life than these trivial things, you know.
True.
It could be in your early teens. Maybe you had something tragic happen, or you lost a parent, you know, or something like that. Or it's in your 20s. I've even had people that come to me for their first time in therapy that are well over 60, just now understanding things that happened in their childhood and how it affects them in their present day. Because you think about those folks, there was no therapy, but you didn't have therapy back then. That wasn't even part of your language to talk about therapy.
No.
You know, especially if you were in the Black community, you know, if there was a problem, you stayed in the back room and we brought you food, but nobody took you to the hospital unless you had to go to the emergency room. Nobody took you to therapy. You didn't have a therapist. No, that wasn't the thing. So now that it's less stigmatized, particularly, like I said, in the Black community, people are more open to understanding themselves and understanding how these past experiences have like effect on how they make decisions now, how they control their emotions now, why do they make the choices that they do, you know? So I think it's no age limit on it.
Okay. Me and Spence have been asking some folks throughout the 3 years we've been doing this about the Black community, the colored community. Let's stick with Black folks now. Do you think that it's changing the stigma? Because I work with a lot of younger Black folks and like, Nas, I can't tell. You know, when you're in it, you can't tell.
Yeah. The younger generation, yes. And it's interesting because I do credit the older generation for that, because the older generation put your therapist through college. Okay? They're the ones that paid the money or paid the taxes or whatever they had to do to make sure your current therapist was able to provide you with services. Now, even if they didn't believe in it or didn't agree with it, they still inadvertently helped in some way. Even you looking at them and being like, ooh, yeah, I need to go to therapy because I don't want to end up like that. Even that is some way of showing help, of, you know, this is okay. And for the older generation, like I said, it's just a little bit harder. They didn't have time to deal with feelings. You had to go to work. You had to take care of your family. You had time to cry or be depressed or be anxious.
No.
You had to deal with that in the break room at your job so you don't get fired, you know? So some of the people that I do have that are, you know, over 60 or so, I love talking to them. They have so much history, so many things that they've been through. It's just really good to provide that space for them to be able to talk about all of these things.
That's awesome.
And get it out. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, then, all right, let's go to the next scene. So this is actually the first training scene, where we actually see Daniel's son he's brushing wooden planks up and down, and
that's how you roll. That's how you roll one.
Just like that. Yep. Satisfy any woman.
That you know that and then it be wet.
Is what?
No, don't ask him to repeat it.
I have to. So doing this training, and then Daniel's son, he's been doing this for hours and hours, and for days even, and he just finally blows up. He's like, why am I doing all this? Why? Like, what the hell is this? Tell me wax on, wax off. Like, what are you talking about? Is this some weird Japanese, like, cultural thing? I don't know. You said you're going to train me, and I'm just waxing your cars. But then Mr. Miyagi he finally shows him what it's all about, right? And that, these are all different techniques that he needs to use in order to actually learn about kung fu or karate. And so it really kind of gets in, and you could see this for all different types of avenues when you have coaching, whether you have leaders or mentors that are in your life. It's all about, even though you may not understand now, at some point you will get it. And some people need they need directly telling them, like, hey, this is what you should be doing. This is how you should be doing it. And for others, they need something to actually distract them from actually just going straight forward into it. Because if I just tell you right away, then you may not even get it at that point. If I just teach you karate, what life lesson are you learning there, right? Mr. Miyagi is all about life lessons also. He's not just about karate. It's also about life lessons.
Spiritual.
Yeah. And he probably also just wanted all of his chores
Shit
done.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, he wanted shit done. And let's be real, he is probably drunk as hell the whole time.
Yeah. I think doesn't they only drink on his anniversary
Maybe.
of his
But-
family dying?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's be real. This is an Asian story, but this is the most Mexican shit I've ever seen in my life. He got the wife beater on, the Dickie jeans.
That's California, baby.
He got the pull. That's California. That was, I don't know, whatever Asian and Mexican is, Japanese and Japa Mexican. Japa, whatever.
Japakin.
Oh my God. Right.
That'd be sexy as hell. Whatever that kid is,
God.
that's a good looking kid.
We're gonna find him.
We're gonna find you. Bro, he looked just like my grandpa, bro. I never realized it until I saw that scene and I paused it, him in his Dickie jeans. I'm like, what, grandpa? Just drunk as hell at the store, just selling people tacos, bro. I see
Isn't that
you,
fucked
grandpa.
up though? It's like how closely, how closely Asian people and Mexican people look. Sometimes I get them mixed up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
But there's more in common with all of our cultures than what people know.
This is
bro.
true. Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah.
Except for the blacks. I don't,
No, they're separated. As they should
Gotta
be.
keep them separate. Okay.
Yeah.
Separate but equal.
Separate but equal.
Yeah.
Even though they. Oh no.
That's how you know we've been friends way too long.
Way too long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're segregationists over here. Jesus Christ. We are not serious.
Sorry.
But you're right, Spence. There's just so much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you meant it like that, but there's just so much that we have in common as God damn it. No redheads out.
With the camo hoodie.
I know. With the camo hoodie.
Perfect call.
Yeah. To go and hunt for immigrants.
Hey, be a man. Talk.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. So I'm sorry I cut you off, Spence. You never even got to ask a question because I cut you off.
I didn't really have a question there. I was saying, there's an observation I had.
Yeah, observation. So here, I'll pitch a question to you. I know you picked this scene, but instead of just telling me why you picked the scene, how could we use this as a metaphor? Like Spencer was talking, he was doing his thing. How can we use this as a metaphor for caregivers, the mentor mentee? Like, help me. What does this represent, and how could people use this visualization?
Yeah. The word that's coming to my mind is trust. You know what I mean? So being able to, like we say, trust the process. So it's like trust the process and trust the mentor that they are leading you in the right direction, So he's just doing all these chores is what it seems. And so he got to a point where he didn't trust anymore that it was doing what he thought it was supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be training, So right when he gets to the last chore, he's like done. He's like, man, forget this mess. Like, you got me doing all your stuff. Like, you're supposed to be training me. What's going on? And then when Mr. Miyagi makes him apply these concepts that he's been teaching him, right? It all comes together for him. It just all comes together. It makes me think about therapy in that way. Sometimes when people come to me for therapy, I explain my therapy technique as kind of like Jedi mind tricking kind of a thing.
In mind control.
Yes, a little bit.
Mind control.
You don't know you're in therapy. You don't feel like it until you go out in the real world and you start applying the things that we've been talking about. I've had so many clients come back to me and say that the people in their lives have been like, "You're in therapy, aren't you? I can tell." And I'm like, "Oh, that makes me proud." Like that means you're actually out here living the life that you've been trying to live while what we've been working on in therapy. You know, so I think it is really about like trusting, and you need to trust your therapist, right? That they're going to lead you to the goals that you set forth when you guys started the relationship. That they're going to hold the space for you. They're going to not judge you, type of thing. You got to trust a lot when it comes to therapy, you know. And if you do that, you do get the benefit because you feel comfortable with your therapist. You're able to talk about any and everything. Like I said, you don't feel judged. You feel like it's safe. So I think that's what it's about, is trust.
I had a client the other day, Spence, say, come out of nowhere. It was weird. And they were talking. And then they said, they're doing good. They're doing good. They're doing good. And then it pops out, I don't even know if this therapy shit's working. You just said you was doing good, so bitch. What you mean? Don't make me defend, you know, my money. I'm getting my money. I'm grinding all up and down that pole, getting my money. You know. Spencer's like, God damn it. And great visual for y'all.
Right.
And I'm like, hey man, look at this, this, and this. You a couple weeks ago, wouldn't have acted like this. Exactly. This would have been bad. You would have been angry. You've been real angry, real hurt. And you would have probably started boozing. I'll be real with you. And by boozing, folks don't know what that means, is drinking alcohol and a lot. A lot. And getting into fights. Yeah. And so I like to tell people, hey man, people that are my drinkers, specifically my boys, you probably would have been hitting that bottle boozing. Let's be real. And since you're not, doesn't that mean that this shit's working?
Exactly.
Well, you know, now sometimes I just need to talk to you because, you know, I just sometimes I lose focus. That's all right.
Right.
That's all right if you lose focus or you backslide. But the fact that you're catching yourself in that backslide and then moving forward, or not running from emotions, you being a grown ass man and running through your emotions, not getting over it. And I'm not telling anyone to get over no emotions, but I want you to go through it like a champion.
Yeah. Acknowledge them.
Work through it. So, Spence, if you was to have this little Asian man and he got you painting and shit like that, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think me or you would be like, this shit is doing anything. But what would you be? Well, you're a trusting guy though, so maybe you would have. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would. I'd probably be like Danielson, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like I probably would have got down on the floor, like start Susie, like wax on. I'm like, all right, let's get down there.
I clean it good for you, mister.
I do it well. But yeah, no, I think I would probably go with it because what I'm doing now isn't working, right? And that's kind of the point, right? Like he had like these Danielson, he had these like videotapes, karate tapes to try and help him with that. And he even went to Cobra Kai before he knew that Cobra Kai that, you know, Johnny was even in there, to try and learn karate from them. And as soon as he saw Johnny, he was like, fudge. And then he left. So he didn't really have a choice in the matter, especially in his eyes, because to him, it might have been like not just socially that he was going to get screwed over, but it was also maybe a life or death for him because he's getting his ass whooped every day at school. And that's it's not a great environment to be in. And so for him, this is all he has. And yeah, he's frustrated because he's not actually learning things directly. But as soon as he realizes what he's doing or what Mr. Miyagi's actually teaching him, then that's when he's like, oh, I'm on this 100%. I'll clean whatever you need to. I'll paint whatever you want me to. I don't care, because now I'm actually going to learn, and all of your outside of the box ideas are finally like resonating with me.
Yeah.
So I think I'd probably go with it if I was in his shoes.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you both a question here in 2 seconds. You know, right? This boy, I'm going to talk about autism, neurodivergence, just being othered. There's a lot of bullying that goes on. A lot of my clients been getting bullied since middle school, horrifically. And these are grown ass men that are coming to me, badass, awesome people. And they're like, hey man, this is why I don't talk to people. This is why I don't open up. I couldn't talk to my parents about this because, you know, they didn't show up for me emotionally. They didn't abuse me. They just couldn't show up. They got their own shit. And, you know, they finally unleash and unburden on me, and it's magnificent. And so Spence and Dr. Funnies, Spencer pulled up this background here. He got this background of both of them looking at each other. So you said that was the original poster.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at let's look at this as a metaphor, right? For some reason, we're on this topic. For all the posters you could have picked, you picked this one. And as both of them looking into each other's eyes, that must mean something, right?
Yeah. I think that it means that they're both on like the same level, same wavelength, right?
Respect.
Yeah, because that's the whole point. Like we saw in this scene about always look in the eyes, always look in the eyes,
look at eyes,
always look at eyes, always look at eyes.
Always look eye.
It's a respect thing, but it's also a trust thing, right? Because if you don't look in their eyes and you put your head down, then they can kick you in the face.
So be prepared.
So always being prepared on no matter what, and always look them in the eyes. And then I think it's also like not intimidation, but then it's also like you're not going to intimidate me.
You're not coward.
Because I'm looking at you right in the eyes, right? And so I think that's what it's really about, especially just look in the eyes. That's what it has. Looking someone in the eyes always has different meanings, no matter what.
Yep.
Like it's all different. But in this case, it is respect, it is trust, and it is also just making sure that people aren't going to intimidate you. And I don't fear you, because these two don't fear each other. They don't. Right. They're like family. Like they're on the. They are. And so it's all about, all right, I trust you, you trust me. Let's get this done.
So Dr. Funnies, when you look at that photo on Spencer's thing there, what do you see? Put yourself as a therapist looking at a client. What do you see in that photo?
I see respect, and it's like Mr. Miyagi, even though he's a friend, it's like he's also kind of like a father figure in a sense, teaching Daniel how to be a man, you know, like
wisdom.
You look people in the eye when you bow towards them. That's how you show respect, and you also get respect. So I see like a deep relationship between the two, like father son ish type of level.
That's where I was going with that. You know, you try to pour this love into these kids, and you know, we all got our different ways of doing it and showing it, right? And so me and you, it's personality, it's good vibes, it's connection, it's humor, and that includes Spence as well. And then for some of us, you know, the white side, that's the one that's trouble. You know, the Johnny Lawrence side, that's the bully.
Where's my red hat at?
Yeah. The black side, that's the one, that's the soul food. It's soul nourishing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm stopping.
Don't even.
Yeah.
Already.
But yeah, I just see him looking at him as an old man trying to impart wisdom and love, trying to protect this young boy, which we're going to get into next, from the traumas and the terrors of the world, which we know that Mr. Miyagi has deep wounds. And so he's a protector. And he's trying to love this boy to get him to protect himself so he can be this figure, this kick, this crane kick. Right. And so this poster means a lot of different things if you look at it. He's trying to get you to stand up for yourself. I've been telling the students lately a lot, a Martin Luther King speech, the mountaintop speech is stand straight. Keep your back straight. No one can stand on you. No one can oppress you. No one can ride your back if you straighten up. And I feel like this is what this crane kick is. He's teaching him to respect himself, to love himself, and you don't have to take no shit. And what Spencer was saying, you're going to have to stand up for yourself or you're going to probably die. The world's going to take everything from you. It's going to try to. It's going to try to. So hopefully everyone listening, you take this picture, this very funny scene, but also a very emotional scene. Maybe you don't know what's going on in therapy. Talk to your therapist. They'll tell you why they're doing what they're doing. Right? My clients know I'm gonna always make the shit connect. Sometimes I get lost in the sauce, right? Sometimes, you know, sometimes that gummy hits a little stronger during the day.
Oh my right before the session.
Right. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's
And you know what's good too is like being able to have a client for a longer period of time. When they get like that, like, is therapy even working? Why do I keep
Yep.
coming? You could be like, hey, remember last year, you know, you were going through this, you was going through that, and you're not going through that this year. And the decisions you made last year are different this year. You know,
Yep.
you can show them their progress. And I think maybe as therapists, sometimes we need to do that a little bit more often, a little bit more freely.
I think so.
So that clients know, like, no, okay, you see my progress, so that means I must be making progress. So then you go out in the world feeling like, okay, I'm utilizing therapy to the best of my ability. The money's worth it.
And also the skills building. So Spence, this is what the students don't trust is I'll be like, hey, let's work on this meditation, this visualization. Hey, let's, my kids that are religious, let's pull out your rosary and make sure we use this. And you're like, oh man, that sounds stupid. Like, no, man, this behavior modification shit actually works. And I can get you to pick up your rosary and then you'll be calm. Now with one of my boys, that motherfucker just thinks about the rosary and he's good. I'm like, let's go, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I got clients that do this type of thing all the time where they're pairing things, mantras, sayings. I was telling someone the other day is specific words, key words. Whenever they're thinking a weird way, I want you to say this mantra. Real quick, just 2 things. I'm not the man I used to be. I'm better than this person.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm seeking help with you in therapy means I'm not this person.
Exactly.
I remember my first client ever, Spence, first client ever in internship. He was a very autistic boy, also schizophrenic, and horrific abuse. Not going to get into that. Pretty bad. Worst case scenario. And he would start having breaks whenever he would think about, his father, and he would literally start stimming, I'm not my father, I'm not my father. So every session was showing him how he's better than his father and he will never be his father.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it gets locked on our heads, these horrible thoughts. And sometimes when our mentors are polluted, like Johnny's was, we think that we're going to be that. Like we'll overcorrect, like me in my life. I overcorrected for a lot of shit in my life compared to my mom and dad, or my mom and dad.
Yeah.
And so you're worried that you don't want to be them, but then sometimes you end up becoming them in some ways, and then you start tweaking, and that can cause you to think that you're the fucking villain. It gets interesting. So
it does.
This is what I always tell people. I got one kid I met the other day. I said, you should be much more fucked up than what you are. But you had your grandparents came in and saved your life. Saved your life. Then you met this really awesome partner. They saved your life. And then, so when you can think about that, remember the good stuff too.
Yeah.
Client told me the other day, and then Spence, we can get to moving. Told me the other day, they said, I'm just so mad at myself. I said, why? And they say, I should have started this shit sooner. This therapy sooner. Should have started sooner. Yeah. Okay. I said, also, you should be glad that you started it now instead of when you're 40 and getting ready to kill yourself. Or your relationship with this shit, or you're boozing all day, or you lost your kids. So yeah, you can hate yourself. All right, I'm not going to fight you. Also, you can love yourself for doing it now at 19, 20, 21.
Okay, that's young.
That's real young. I didn't start working on my shit till 26.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And we get caught up with that word a lot, should. Like, I should have done this. I should have done that. And I heard somebody say, stop shitting all over yourself. Because you're right. Like, if that was supposed to happen, it would have happened then. Maybe it would have happened, you wouldn't have been receptive, or you wouldn't have had the right therapist, or whatever circumstances didn't allow for it to come together. But you're here now. So let's work in the now and go forward.
Let's trust the process.
Exactly.
And if you question the process, then tell your therapist, what the fuck are we doing?
Exactly. Like, that's an encouragement, because it is a relationship. So you have to be able to say, hey, I don't like this part, or hey, can you do more of this, or hey, do you do this type of treatment? It's not just the therapist conducting therapy on you, it's your therapy.
Correct.
So you got to take control in some way.
Yeah. If your therapist is having you washing their car, Spence, this
might be a little weird. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
I ain't gonna lie. I bet you this is some West Coast shit, though. I bet you they do have people do shit like that. They're like, what you need is some good yard work. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I guarantee you some people in California. What'd you say? Wax on, whack off.
Yeah, wax off.
No, she sent me
Oh,
that.
Dr. Funnies.
She sent me that once in an Instagram thing. She said, wax on, wax off. I'm like, wait a
I
minute.
did.
She's like, yeah, I said that. I was like,
Oh, Dr. Funnies.
I know. She unsent it like 2 minutes afterwards.
No, I
Whoops.
No, she didn't.
No, she kept it up. She
Yeah, I
pinned
did.
it.
She did.
I stood on it.
Yeah, she stood on it. You did. Oh, I'm done.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's see. All right, so this is
Yes.
we finally get the backstory of Mr. Miyagi, right?
Right.
Yep.
What he has gone through. So he was in the war, World War II to be specific, because he said he was fighting Germans, and so during that time, he while he was in the war, he finds out that his wife and son pass away due to complications of childbirth. And then every year since, I'm pretty sure he just drinks to her memory, to both their memories. And we see that Danielson is actually seeing the firsthand kind of what Mr. Miyagi is kind of going through, because normally Mr. Miyagi is very stoic, not very emotional at a lot of points, but he's a little sauced at the moment, and he's finally seeing this other side of Mr. Miyagi, more emotional, as well as him just tributing to his family. I guess this is we want to see a little bit, like, kind of want to see what our caregivers, our mentors, kind of what they're going through at certain points and at certain times, because we may never know, even though they act like they have a front with us, behind the scenes could be a whole bunch of things happening, right? And at the end of the day, it feels like Mr. Miyagi, this was actually a really good thing for Daniel to see, so that he could actually see that his teacher had these different emotions and different things were going on in his head, that he was a veteran, who who fought in a war, killed people. It really humanized him, instead of it just being just do karate, that's it, blah blah blah. While on the other side, we see that Johnny and John Kreese is told the opposite, right? It's more about like kill, kill, kill. That's all it's about with him. And Cobra Kai, there are no life lessons besides just being the winner, being on top, and that's about it. While Mr. Miyagi, it's more about like he is in the dirt, and you kind of got to learn a lot from there. So yeah, what about this scene really really touched you, Dr. Funnies?
Yeah, I think it is just like you said, the humanizing of Mr. Miyagi. He is normally pretty stoic, not a lot of emotion. And it's the first time Daniel sees that he has a background, that he had a life before living as this maintenance man in the back of this apartment complex, fixing sinks all day. Like, no, he actually had a life before, and one that had a trauma in it, a tragedy, losing your wife and child while you're away at war, let alone being at war, whatever you're thinking of then and all the traumas you're seeing then, and now you got to deal with when you get back home, your wife and child are not going to be there, So on top of that, when Daniel leaves, you notice that he sees that Mr. Miyagi got I think it's called the Medal of Valor, I think, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he's just kind of in awe, recognizing like, no, this guy is not only is he a human, he was a pretty awesome guy, like he's been through some things, and it's the first time Daniel actually turns to bow at Mr. Miyagi without Mr. Miyagi saying bow, like come on, bow. No, he shows him respect, even though Mr. Miyagi is obviously passed out and can't really tell that what he's doing, but he still wants to show like, no, I respect you, because obviously you've really been through some things, and for you to still present like you're a put together human and try to teach me things, while you have this in your history and your background, that's commendable. That's something not to be taken lightly. So I'm going to listen to this man and whatever he tells me to do, because he's actually a good person.
Yeah, it humanizes it. It shows that maybe you'll even love and trust your person, your caregiver, even more if you get to see some of their damage bits, some of their scars. Because now you don't think that they're perfect, Spence. Now you're like,
that's that part.
If they could be damaged and still be happy, or still keep moving, or still choosing to live, then maybe I can.
Yeah.
If they are flawed, maybe I can be flawed, but also still be successful. I did a talk with these first gen students the other day on Thursday. Oh yeah, because I sent Spence some photos. And I went up there, Spence, and I was supposed to go talk and do this really lovely script that I wrote up, and you know, just telling them to just continue to love themselves, keep working, like anything is possible. And then we were supposed to do this podcast called Southpaw that night. And so that shit traumatized the shit out of me because I ain't seen it in a while. Jake Gyllenhaal. So I was in this weird mindset. Good mindset, but just very grateful of everything that I have. And so I went up there, Dr. Funnies, I ain't gonna lie, man. I went up there and I cried for 12 minutes. And I was just telling kids, you know, you come from fucked up shit. I remember watching my father in prison when I go to the little playpen, right? And there's tons of emotions about that. It was awesome, but also I feel like I wasted so much time as a dumb kid. I should have been playing with my father instead of fucking around with the toys in the prison yard, or whatever the little thing that they had. But then me and my father talk all the time. Look how far we've come now. Oh, I told the kids, like, I own my own business now, and I love all these kids, and I'm saving all these lives. And I said, I cried for a week straight when I brought my new car because I'm not supposed to have these nice things.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm telling the kids, you know, love your family, set boundaries, because you're all first gen students. There's a lot of pressure. And I'm just up there crying, man, being raw and emotional. And that was the closing speech. The first speech, magnificent by this lady, awesome Mexican woman, right? And she's the director of this center, right? And it was so articulate and wonderful. Man, I went up there and just cried. I'm like, God
Thankfully,
damn
it was the last one. That would have been the first one to start.
One,
Like,
hard to follow.
Thank God. Yeah, can you imagine? She'd be like, I'm going to just go ahead and concede. Bro, and I look into the crowd. I haven't even told Spence about this yet because we haven't talked yet. It's been a long week. And I look into the crowd, man, and it's about 70 people, and it is all sobbing, Spence.
Wow.
There's grown-ass professors in there sobbing.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people came up to me, and some grown folks came up to me. They didn't know what to say because they were tweeting. They're like, what do I say to this big brown motherfucker? I don't know. They was just like, that was awesome, man. And I was like, yup.
Yeah.
I couldn't do no one be good as hell when they was like, yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you, man. Yeah.
Right.
You
There
know,
were tears.
so I'm going to my brother.
No, that's raw. That's real.
It was super real. But then some kids came up, and I know how to act with kids. And so we just kept building on it, man. And laughter and love. And, you know, you're going to fuck up and the world's going to take some shit from you, and you can choose to allow it to poison you. You can move forward. So I bring up this story because I had some babies in there, had some kids in there. And some of my young Hispanic women stayed to just hear me speak. And I said, it's going to be a tough one. And I swear to God, I kid you not, way in the back row, I seen them two little motherfuckers in the back row. I seen you ain't a lot of brown kids in this crowd. And I seen them, they was doing this, Spence.
They were recording you.
They was recording me, those little fuckers.
We got them.
We got them.
Right.
We got them. So I can't wait to get it. So maybe, because if you can hear it, I want my dad to hear it. And I said, you know, I'm showing you all these emotions and being raw because, men, we got really high suicide rates. And we need to know that it's okay to be in pain. We need to be better as a population. We need to care for each other, and we need to love deeply and wildly. And I just lost my shit when I said that. And I think Miyagi probably was closed down for a while, Spence, and then he meets this boy, and then he starts gaining life and juice. Right? That last scene, you know, we're going to show it. He's proud with his head up.
Yeah.
I say this.
So true.
It's so true. I say this because We're all wounded. But man, sometimes healing people heals us. And any therapist that thinks they ain't getting a healing from healing other people, you're lying. You're lying.
Yeah, you're right. I was just talking with Spence before we got on that, being a therapist is still a job, and at the end of the day, sometimes you don't want to go to work because you're tired because, it's still a job.
Yep.
But I know for me, sometimes I'll feel like that and I'll tell my husband and he'll be like, oh, whatever, you'll be fine in a few minutes because I know how you do, which is very true. You get in there and you get in those sessions and somehow it rejuvenates you. I know it does for me because it's like, oh, right, I have a purpose here. I am helping someone. I am providing this space for someone and they are working through their stuff with me. Like it's such an honor when I'm in it and it's happening, But of course, like some mornings you're like, oh God, I don't want to go to work. I'm so tired. Oh, but then you get in there and it's all good.
So, can you tell for like anybody who is currently like, going through becoming a therapist, not that they are therapists, but are becoming therapists, could you kind of maybe give some advice to them on maybe they feel like, this isn't my calling or something like that, or maybe they're just having a hard time because it's very tough. It's very tough.
Yeah.
Schooling is tough. So
Yeah.
can you give some advice to those people who are kind of going through that? And like, what would you say to them if they were right in front of you?
I would say, welcome to the club. Okay. Because I've been doing this well over 20 years, and there are definitely times I still feel like, is this my calling? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing with the rest of my life? Still don't know the answer to that, but I know when I'm in it, I'm in it, and you go into this field with the purpose of wanting to help people, however that looks. And I think for me, I had to let go of that looking like me actually doing something and have it more so be them actually doing something. It's the client that does the work. It's the client that does the changing. I'm just here to help guide you on the journey. Sometimes that just looks like being the space for you to just, some clients come in and they just go. And I'll be trying to double dutch, try to get a word in, but they've been working with me or they are they just need that sounding board space to be able to just like say their stuff out loud to someone that they know is listening. My favorite parts are when people come to their own epiphany. Like, I don't know why I do that. And then they keep talking. Oh, that's why I do that.
Oh, I knew that.
Yes, I haven't said a word in 20 minutes. That's one of my favorite sessions because I know you're really doing the work. And sometimes I have people that come in and they just kind of look at you and they're like, okay, fix me, do something. And I'm like, you gotta give me something to chew on in order to figure out, where we're going. I can't ask you too many questions because I don't want it to sound like an interview process. So I think for new therapists, it's just, you're going to find your rhythm. They teach you therapy, right, in school. I don't feel like they really teach you how to be the therapist that you're going to eventually end up being. You have to weed through a lot of things that you were taught that may not apply to how you do your therapy. I know that's how I figured things out. Still continuing to figure things out. You know what I mean? I'm always open to learning more and trying to figure out how to be better in these sessions.
I think Spence is validating them that it's a struggle even for us as longtime counselors. Yeah. Let's not even talk about counselors. Like, it's struggle for anyone that's in a caregiving profession, any healthcare or mental health educators. Teachers are fucking therapists. They're social workers. They're nurses. Shout out to all teachers, everyone in K through 12. Much love and appreciation. Right. The country would be lost without you. And I know you're not appreciated. So shout out to any teachers. But it's letting them know that they're not crazy. They're not soft. They're not weak. That they're going to have some really hard days. They need to manage their self-care. And their self-care also means the boundaries, making sure they're not biting off too much. I know I plan on, it was a weird couple days. I plan on taking Monday, Tuesday off, probably Wednesday off as well too. Because you got to do what you got to do, Spence. Otherwise you will drown.
Yeah.
You will drown.
Sometimes I have a problem with that. And you have to have boundaries for yourself, right?
You do.
If you're sick or something, you're like, oh, my clients need me. you need you too.
Yeah.
And you got to be there for yourself.
And your clients will appreciate it. They'll know because I'll tell them like, hey, I had to take this break and this is why.
Right.
I won't tell them the whole reason why, but I'm going to be like, hey, I needed some days off. I'm sorry. I know you're stable. And if you're not stable, I'm going to send you to the crisis center. But it's learning to manage the ups and the downs. It's knowing that, you know, if something weird happens, Spencer, in therapy, it ain't on you. There's a lot of variables. It's not on you. And you just got to roll with it, baby. And you're going to have some bad days where it's a lot of trauma. And you're going to have some good days where you get to meet your favorite clients over and over and over. And you're just going to be talking about Jurassic Park. And you're just going to be kicking it. And they're going to be showing you memes. Right. And they're going to show you the recital outfit, Spence. And they're going to show you all this crazy shit. And oh my God, pause. Dr. Funnies.
Yes.
So Spence, this has to be a reel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this so like we know the chop this is a reel.
Okay.
So I often, Dr. Funnies, let me know if you do this. I often will like, hey man, you dating, right? Let me see what's your partner look like, right? I mean, eventually we're like, hey, might as well show me, right? Spence, I've never done this before. So they'll show me. No, you don't. Maybe you do.
Or don't.
Huh. This is pretty out there. So like they always show me the partner. I'm like, that's a good looking, that's gorgeous, or that's good looking boy. And so my clients are like, nah, man, nah. And I'm like, yeah. This one kid the other day, I said, hey, you don't like him. I'm a straight man. I said, you don't like, you break up that motherfucker, I date him. I said, he like bald fat guys. That's not even the funny one. Who doesn't? He like egg roll looking motherfuckers.
Not the egg roll.
Yeah. So the next kid, I've been working for a while. Love this kid, man. And this is what's funny. They showed me a picture of their partner, right, Spence? And immediately he had his shirt off, cut up and shit. Yeah. And so immediately I pull it up, right? And I start zooming in right to his crotch.
Oh, of course. Like,
Oh my God.
That's a good man right there.
Snatches that motherfucker away from me. I said, damn, man. There was nothing there. I just felt like zooming in right to his dick.
I can't. Oh my God.
The moment, I just like blessings.
Yeah. That man is blessed.
It was the funniest shit. My student literally was tweaking, bro.
Yeah.
Tweaking. I said, hey girl, you know, I'm just happy for you. You know, I'm happy for you. Anyone listening to this,
you're blessed.
If your therapist does this, they're probably crossing some boundaries. I've known some of these kids for like 2 years. We've been through the mud.
Right. That is the thing when you have that relationship.
I've never even thought to do that. Like, soon as Spencer, from next time someone sends you a photo or like you're talking to someone, just zoom right in on their crotch. Doesn't matter. Right in the crotch.
Next time, be like, yep.
If Dom shows you a photo of someone, I don't care who it is, right crotch. 90-year-old granny just strutting.
Oh my gosh.
Old dust. Old
dusty.
All right.
Struggle crotch.
Hey.
Struggle crotch.
That's why I was really crotch.
Jesus.
I just random. I had to tell people that because I haven't told anyone that yet. Like I've been sitting on that, and I was thinking
maybe you shouldn't.
Damn, maybe I shouldn't, huh?
You zoomed on your client's partner's crotch. Yeah, that might be tough to explain there.
Hey, I mean,
I was just making sure they were all right.
You know,
right.
I just making sure you take care.
Right.
She ain't walking the same sins.
You've been smiling for weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we got way far off of trauma. Let's get to the last scene. So.
All right. Speaking of trauma, let's talk about this.
Shoot.
All right. Last scene. Danielson's in tournament. He's fighting off people one by one. Pop, pop. He gets injured by one of the Cobra Kai's. Like literally almost snapped his leg. And then it's the final round. So he might not be making it to actually fight. And so Mr. Miyagi does his hand rub healing thing, and he actually gets to fight in the last fight against Johnny. And so as they're fighting, Johnny's pretty much losing, right? Because he's trying to fight fair. He's fighting fair, Johnny. And then um, as Johnny's kind of in a timeout with his sensei, his sensei tells him, "Sweep the leg, Johnny. Sweep the leg." So pretty much going after his weakness instead of fighting fair, right? Um, and and so Johnny does this. He's going to win, but then then we see these Daniel's son. He wins the whole thing by doing his crane kick. Yada yada yada. But we have this moment of where Mr. John Kreese, what a name that is telling Johnny to sweep the leg, right? While before that, Daniel and Mr. Miyagi are in the locker room, and he's just like, "Hey, man, you put up a good fight. It's all right. We don't have to win. Like you've made it so far, farther than we've ever thought we could go. Might as well just we can stop now." But Daniel says he wants to keep going, and of course his coach is very in tune with him, and he's just like, "Okay, I'm going to help you out here." Um, but we feel like so we have these different mentors that are teaching during this moment, and one is all about winning and being on top, and then the other is just happy the fact that we even got to be here at this point, even got to be in the tournament because they're a small dojo. What are you gonna do? So what about mentors and then mentees kind of helps us grow up who we are? Like we talked about a little bit, like our environment, but what about John Kreese and him saying just sweep the leg really got you to want to do this scene?
Yeah. I think it was because, like you said, Johnny was fighting fair in the beginning. And it kind of shows Crease's kind of influence over Johnny. And like Nas was saying earlier, we're kind of privileged to be in 2024 and have more information on Crease's background and kind of where he came from and how he came to be the gentleman that we see before us. And so, like, yeah, winning is the only option. I don't know if you guys watch Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last type of thing. That's Crease's thing. If you're not first, then there's no point in you even having an existence. And so that's what he teaches all of his Cobra Kai. Even when Daniel got injured, he told the kid to, I don't know, break the leg or something like that. And the kid was like, Sensei, I can take this guy. And he's like, no, you're going to do what I tell you to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so he did it. And then I don't know if in the movie, when he does do it, after he hurts his leg or whatever, he immediately jumps on top of him and says, Daniel, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Daniel. He didn't want to do that, but Sensei is pushing these kids to be killers, I guess we can say.
Monsters.
To attack, you know what I mean? To strike first, strike hard type of thing.
Yeah.
And so after he does sweep the leg, after Johnny does sweep the leg, he does that because his sensei told him to. He wants to please Sensei. And again, like we said, we see Johnny's background, who of a father figure, just like Miyagi, he does have a different philosophy, but he's Daniel's kind of father figure. This Kreese is kind of Johnny's father figure. A good one?
Yes.
No, but one still that instills discipline, some sort of honor within him, these things that he needed, right? And so after he loses the fight, Johnny loses the fight, he hands Daniel the trophy and he says, good fight, LaRusso. You're all right. You're all right. You are all right, LaRusso. So to me, that shows like inherently, again, he's not a bad kid, because if he was, he would take the trophy that he got and just toss that joint, or he would get upset and he would say it wasn't fair, or,
Election's rigged. It's rigged.
Yeah,
January 6th.
Type of thing. But he did it. He did the honorable thing, and say, look, all right, you're all right. And from then on, he gets the respect. He gives Daniel respect by doing that. So I think that's why I chose this scene. There's a lot of factors there that really show you like the influence of both, really, Daniel as well. Like he was saying he's afraid. Remember Daniel? I'm afraid of him. I'm afraid of him. He didn't want to fight Johnny. And since his Mr. Miyagi's like, hey, like cut that shit. Focus, Daniel-san, focus. Get in there and do what you got to do. And that's what he did. Because we can, right? We get caught up in fear a lot of the times. And I think a lot of times fear has us missing out on opportunities to see how great we can be. You know, it's a barrier sometimes because we don't know what's going to happen. So instead we choose to live in that little realm. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. That's where anxiety kind of lives too, you know? And I always tell my clients, we got to test the hypotheses here. Okay, you think it's going to be messed up? Won't you go through? Let's see what, it turned out fine. Maybe we should try to keep doing that because again, our brains do try to protect us. But sometimes we're just trying to send the email. Like, we don't need to be afraid of someone responding to us. We need to know how to manage our emotions when that person responds, but we don't need to be afraid. Like, if some people want to go for jobs, right? I have a lot of clients who are applying for jobs. And there's some fear and anxiety about, like, just putting themselves out there, you know, the fear of the rejection. It's like, it's okay. It's okay to be rejected. It doesn't mean you're not wanted. It just means that's not where you were supposed to be. You know, you can move on to the next place and keep trying and keep motivating yourself to keep going, and that your skills are going to be useful somewhere, you know. So I think, again, back to the mentorship, it does really make a difference, you know, what type of mentorship you get to determine how you're going to be.
Spence, I was thinking about the world. And the world's got negative and the positive effects attacking you all day, every day. And we normally focus on the negative ones. It's all about the way you internalize things or just your perspective. And I talked about it earlier with clients saying, I wish I should have did this sooner. Well, I'll be glad you did it now. And so the world's a sumbitch, man. I guess maybe I'm just very negative. I think it's just trying to beat you down. I think money and economics, politics, racism, all of it, gender stuff, body stuff, social media, it's all just weighing you down. Let's be real. We think it's making us happy. A good majority of the time, after a while, it makes us depressed. And you got folks like Miyagi, the world would be Kreese, break the leg, trying to break your legs, trying to take everything from you. And then the innards of you, your soul, is still trying to live. And I guess if you don't have any of that good sauce, that good loving to like soothe your nervous system, to make you feel like you want to live, it's tough. And some folks, obviously, that's not enough, Spence, right? Sometimes, you know, people are just done. But I was just thinking about it. Miyagi. That's a bad boy there, right? And instead of being selfish, he decided to invest in this boy that just got done getting his ass kicked. And he's like, hey, man, you got this. I'm going to help you out. And he said, you already won the fight. You don't need to fight anymore. You've proven yourself. The kid's like, nah, I got to do this. And so Miyagi's like, all right, G, I got you. We're going to go do this. It reminds me of Spence, the world, how to pollute us, our minds, turn us evil, like that movie we did, Creed 3. Right?
Haven't seen that yet.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know,
It's good?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, that's probably one of the best Creeds I thought that there was.
Okay. All right.
So, and then after you watch that, watch The Therapist that broke it down with us, another awesome black therapist. That was a fucking fantastic podcast. Jesus.
All right.
And then add him on social media because he's magnificent.
Okay.
It reminds me of those two cats, Spence, right? You got that life. Well, technically life was fucked up for both of them, but one of them ended up lucking out into some money and the other one goes to prison.
Yeah.
I was talking that speech the other day. I said, some of us are just so fucking unlucky. But some of us are unlucky and we claw our ways out of that hell. Some of us are super privileged. Right. You see this scene and the world, I think, wants you to become that monster like Kreese. This is what I'm getting at. They want you to show no mercy. They want you to work 60 hours and then come home and and then work and then die, work and then die. That's it. They just want the system will make it to where you have no purpose other than what you can do as a cog.
Exactly.
I got clients that'll tell me all the day, Dr. Funnies, that, you know, if I'm not going to be something big, what the fuck I want to be mediocre for? I might as well take my own life. There's no point. I like, come on, G, the world is much bigger than me and Spence been talking for 3 years about the little things.
Yeah.
We've had whole podcast episodes when we first started just about appreciating the little things.
Yeah, you're right.
Your
I
impact.
saw something that was saying like we feed our bodies with our mouths, but we feed our souls with our eyes and ears.
Yeah.
And so you be careful basically what you ingest and you bring into your being, you know, and you're right. I tell clients a lot of times, and I know as therapists, we tell your clients like go on a walk or go outside. I add in further of like really being mindful. I think we take this life a lot for granted.
We do.
Like we're all human beings on this floating rock in the middle of this freaking galaxy. It's so temperamental. It could change at any moment. You know what I mean? We got the sun that beams down on us from however far away it is, but we still feel it and it still provides us with energy, and all of these things are provided for us. We got these bodies, you know what I mean, that function in a certain way in order for us to be healthy or to take care of ourselves. There's so many things bigger than social media.
It's wild.
Or all this other like just little frivolous things, you know. And I think sometimes when you take life into account and try, and even with the clients that say like you say, like if I can't get this big thing and be this awesome, you know, big shot or whatever, then what's the point? It's like, well, the point is to find something that fulfills you. And it doesn't always mean that's money. It means like something that you pour into that somehow pours back into you. It could be volunteering. It could be creating art. It could be coloring, something that you used to do when you were young, but something that actually feeds your soul and gives it some positivity. Because there's a lot of negativity out here that's out here feeding your souls that you can just ingest haphazardly. You ain't even really got to be looking for it. It could just get on you if you're not careful.
Yep.
That it has, you know. So I
It's a
often
fucking
tell
virus.
clients that it is. It really is.
Fucking virus.
And it's not to be toxic positivity.
Nope.
You know, I've seen I think it was a meme or something. It was like a battery doesn't work without both positive and negative, right? Same thing with our thoughts. Like you can't ignore that some shit ain't right, but you can't stay in that realm. And you can't just only think things are great and stay in that realm. You got to find like a happy medium somehow, you know, to where you still have hope and you still have motivation to get up and get out there and make the best of the life that
You
were given. Yeah.
You gotta figure out what this Miyagi thing is, right? What this life is. This thing that makes you want to go bonsai,
bonsai,
bonsai.
Yo, I used to work at a bagel bakery, and me and this guy used to say that all the time.
For real?
Random ass facts.
Random ass bonsai.
Dr. Funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was my first job at 14.
Look at that. Again.
Damn.
Bagel.
But I
What
only
bagel
worked
company
there.
was this? It's just a random bagel company. This is like
it was in Annapolis. It was called Chesapeake Bagel Bakery. I only started working there because there was a cute guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, gotta love it.
That's how it all starts.
So you got a photo of him?
Let's zoom in on him.
No, right. Zoom in on his crotch.
I'd have a crush on him too.
Hey, that boy, why is it shaped like a bagel?
Okay.
That one don't wrap around. That one
Just
don't
like
wrap
I
around.
Can't.
You just slap it.
Pumpernickel, okay?
They call it. You got some bumps on it though. That's that everything
Oh
bagel.
no.
That
Oh,
everything
no.
bagel. No.
Everything bagel.
Got them sesame seeds.
Oh my God, I got that bump.
them off.
That's what we call HPV.
Extra cream cheese, please.
Oh my
But boom. But boom. I take it here. I go here.
Yeah,
Here we go.
so that was interesting. Hey, those people deserve love too. So
Protected love.
protected love, yes. Consensual, informed consent love.
Consensual,
my
protected
God.
love.
Yes.
Too funny.
Yeah, it's just good scenes, man. Good scenes.
Great.
I just want to go metaphorical with that one, right? The world.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
right, I mean, like like Dr. Funnies was saying, bro, you ain't got to pay attention to that shit your whole life, man. You can go find other people to give you mentorship and guidance after you get out of the house, maybe after you get out of your town. As me and Spencer did on this trip, we just kept saying, this God country.
God country.
Because
It was.
you in the mountains and you seeing some wild shit, and you just like,
yeah,
maybe life ain't that big of, maybe this small thing I'm sweating, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's traveling.
And I've had some loss in my life, you know, and that, like, I lost my mom. Oh God, I think it's 2014. The year always, I think it's 2014, 2015. It was a weird time, you know what I mean? But I have had some loss in my life, and it's definitely given me perspective on, like, you don't know how much time you have.
Nope.
You don't know if you're going to live to be. My grandfather lived to be 103 years old.
Oh shit!
Actually.
Okay.
Yes. Titus Blunt was his name. Okay.
Titus. That motherfucker strong.
Titus.
That's a strong black name there.
That's a strong black name.
That's a strong black man
right
right there.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It's a superhero name right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He
It
was.
sure was.
He
You know,
was.
but he was still, like, very much with it, you know, before he passed.
Awesome.
But it's no guarantee we're gonna live that long, you know? And so, yes, you can get caught up in everyday just stuff that might just get on you, and now you're in a funk and you're in a mood, you know, but then it's like you gotta shake that off, because nobody deserves your attitude, let alone yourself. Like, you don't even deserve your funky ass attitude. Like, you got to do something to make yourself feel better, whether it be you go to therapy or you take your medication or you do your walks, you know, you try. It might not always work, like we say in therapy, like these coping skills and things that we give you may not always work, but there are times where they do, you know.
Yep.
And the fact that you have that, I even tell people, like, when they're feeling better and they're not in, like, a depressive episode and they're feeling really good, you keep journaling. Journal about that.
Yes.
So that when you read it back, you're like, oh, so this isn't going to last forever.
No.
I can actually, it's going to lift, you know. It doesn't always have to be just negative doom and gloom that you're journaling about. You wanted to journal about the good things too, so you can see that you're capable of being there, of having that.
Thou shalt not pass.
Thou shall not pass.
Wasn't that a Gandalf thing?
You shall not pass. That thou shall not pass.
Oh, whatever.
Made it way more English than it needed
He
to be.
did. I mean,
White Jesus. Hey, real quick.
He did turn white, so.
Hey, one of my kids the other day goes, I saw God. I said he was black.
Oh my God.
No.
He said no.
He said, no. It's an entity. It was this feeling, you know, it was just warmth. I said, that sound like a black man. That sound like no white man. It's a white kid too.
That sounds like a man with soul.
That sounds like a black man.
That's what it's
me.
saying.
That's a brother right there. That ain't no area.
You can smell the seasoning behind it.
Oh shit.
Yeah. All I smelled was baked chicken. Like, I think God is white. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. This motherfucker. It's all bland in here. Is that pumpkin spice?
A fruit salad?
Yeah.
Green bean casseroles?
Is that motherfucker depressed? I'm sorry. I want to end on that. I said, was he black? My kid's like, what the fuck?
Like, right. I know you got to be.
Oh, I see some weird shit, man. The fact that people pay for this shit, bro. They pay. It was good for you.
Right.
It was good for you.
It was good,
Was he good for you, baby?
It was good for you. You know.
It's like a cigarette.
All right. Spence, make sure she pumps her socials. Let's do this thing. Let's clean this up.
Actually, before we leave,
let's
just want to say one thing. You should definitely have more Mr. Miyagi's out in the world. And if you notice that in the movie, John Kreese, he had a bunch of students, people that he was teaching these negative things to go out in the world and do these certain things, while Mr. Miyagi just had Daniel's son.
Yeah.
So maybe if Mr. Miyagi was able to teach more people his ways, that none of this would have happened. So
we need more,
I like
Spence.
that. Yes.
We need more. Rest in peace.
Yes.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
R.I.P. All right. On that note, Dr. Funnies, please give us all the plugs to your socials. What you got coming up? What are you doing? Let's do it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I've enjoyed myself here as
Yes,
per
always a
usual,
delight.
guys. Yes, yes. Yeah, obviously I'm coming. I'd like to come back because I got a lot more movies
Oh yeah.
that we could
Open door.
crack at. Yeah.
Over
Got some
there.
good ones for you.
Separate but
Yes.
equal. Separate but equal.
Yes, everybody DEI. Okay. But no, you can find me on all pretty much social media platforms. Mental Health Funnies is the name. I'm more active on Instagram and Threads than on like Facebook, or not even really on Twitter like that. Um, right now I'm running a contest. It's a giveaway contest. If you go to my page, there's a post that you can find that talks about a giveaway contest with a page called Psychobabble Swag. So she is someone who makes like mugs and t-shirts, and I'm actually wearing one of the t-shirts now. This is Therapy Works. Yeah, she makes all sorts of things like that, and so she's doing a giveaway for that will run from now until the 22nd. The contest rules are on the post. We will have 2 winners, and then there's also a discount code, so you can get 25% off using Funnies25. If you go to Psychobabble Swag Etsy page, you can use that. But other than that, yeah, I'll be in the social media platforms sharing the funnies for your mental.
Wait a minute. Aren't you doing this collab thing, or am I not supposed to talk about that? I thought you were doing this other business thing, this thing with a person.
Oh, you're talking about the therapist connection thing?
Yeah.
There's a subscription that I'm working with. Therapist to Therapist is her handle.
Okay.
A very good friend of mine. Her name is actually Asia, and she's a licensed mental health clinician, well, licensed marriage and family therapist is what she is, in the Maryland area. And she started a subscription service for therapists to connect and just kind of talk. We do workshops. She has CEU. She has resources for jobs. There's a bunch of different chat rooms on different topics, like how to grow your social media posts. There's a BIPOC room. All sorts of things like that. We just launched it on the 1st, and already it has like 35 members, so it's pretty cool. But if you go to her page, again, it's Therapist to Therapist. You can follow the link there and get the information for it.
There you go.
It's called the Therapist Connection. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, always a pleasure. Please come back anytime, any movie, any show you want to do, as usual.
Thank you.
Always a delight.
You make me
Thank you
feel
so
so
much for
welcome. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, of course, got to do some great work. So, with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrum Podcast.
Hi, everyone. Much love. And remember to take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
It's completely up to you. Peace.